Thank you, Council President, and we appreciate the accommodation of a little extra time on the public comment today. As you can imagine, this is a critically important issue for so many people. Colleagues, just a basic reminder, absolutely nothing about this rebuild is voluntary, not for anyone who lost their home or their property on January 7th. It doesn't matter whether it was a home rented or owned, or whether it was a beloved local business, or whether it was a multifamily building their grandparents bought in the 1960s. Absolutely none of it is voluntary. On January 7th, their entire community was taken from them. Their homes, their churches, their schools, their pets, their memories, their futures, all of it. Taken from them in a catastrophe that was no fault of their own. These people survived terrifying evacuations and watched in horror as everything they knew and loved burned. These are not voluntary remodels. Literally no one asked for this. These aren't people trying to rebuild for profit. They are trying to rebuild their lives. Thousands of them were under and uninsured, again, through no fault of their own. Hundreds of them were dropped just weeks and days before the fire. These are people who are grappling with gut-wrenching decisions right now about what to do. These people are on the brink of calling it a total loss and walking away. Their insurance benefits are running out. Alternative living expenses are about to expire. People are carrying mortgages on properties that were pulverized 10 months ago, and now they're also paying rent. And I personally know too many of them that are holding on by a thread. These are teachers, artists, and small business owners, and nurses, and builders, and office workers, just like all the rest of us all over LA. Some of them are grandparents. Some of them are brand new families just starting out. Some of them have been there for generations. These people are our friends. These are our neighbors, and they are Angelenos. We owe it to them to take care of them just because it's the right thing to do. And while I do appreciate the fiscal concerns raised by the BFI in its report, restricting the fee waiver to single-family homes and duplexes, which is clearly what the report does, just repeats the same falsehood, that somehow the Pacific Palisades is just an island of affluence. The reality is what we lost is so much more. It is rent-stabilized mobile home parks, which I have been fighting like hell to help rebuild, despite hitting one challenge after another. Dozens of them were townhomes, nearly 1,000 units of RSO housing, income-restricted condos for seniors. This is affordable housing in the truest sense of the word. And for so many of them, older, modest single-family homes, 110% just doesn't make sense. The cost of labor and materials, having to hire architects and builders, these people just lost everything. And unlike the Budget and Finance Committee report, our report from the Recovery Committee captures the breadth of the housing stock and more that was lost or damaged in the Palisades fire. We should not be picking winners and losers, telling one class of residents that we'll waive your fees if you own a single-family home. We'll waive your fees if you own a duplex, but we're going to tell other people, too bad you own a mobile home or a condo. Too bad your property was a multifamily building. Too bad you lived in the ADU in the back of the main house. Too bad you owned a building on Sunset Boulevard in the historic block. Businesses that have served generations of Angelenos. And worse, I can't find a good reason for the distinction. It's not that the fiscal impact of rebuilding on multifamily or commercial properties is any greater. According to the CAO's own report, waivers for multifamily would actually be less than single-family homes. And maybe in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't feel like waiving these fees is actually going to make the difference between rebuilding and giving these folks a pathway home. But for them, who are making decisions about whether they can return or if they're just going to pack up and leave LA forever, for us to show them that we have their back, it might just be enough. Enough to convince a retiree to stay and rebuild. Maybe it'll be enough to convince an apartment owner to rebuild so that the people who were there have an opportunity to come home too. Colleagues, I think the only thing that we really can do here is to stand up for these victims who through no fault of their own have had everything stolen from them in this catastrophe. We have precedent for doing this, and my ask to you all is that we do the right thing and we adopt the ad hoc committee report. I will like to ask when we take the vote, because I don't know where the numbers are going to come, if this is going to be limited, and if the BFI report is what is going to be moved, I would ask, would you please, at least, please, consider a friendly amendment that would do the following. Include a sunset date, January 7th, 2030. 2, waive rebuilding fees for the ineligible Palisades property owners whose fees were already suspended as of the effective date of the ordinance. If those household fees have already been suspended, City of LA can't be a collection agency. Commitments were made to all of these people in the mayor's executive order. 3, I think it is absolutely essential that the waiver to like-for-like rebuilds be expanded to include condos, townhomes, apartments, and our mobile home parks. 4th, we have to remove the 110% rebuild restriction for single-family homes and duplexes for the economic factors that I've just described. And finally, for all properties up to 110% should be waived before any fees are charged beyond the 110%.